clear. What you saw last night was a cheap fake video. That was not Joe Biden proving to the entire world that he's not up to the task of another 4 years in office. It was a dirty Republican cheap fake. Wow, is all I have to say after watching the debate last night. I suspect you had roughly the same reaction. I'm just going to open up the phone lines, your calls, your texts, your reactions. 414-799-1130 is our adventknows.com talk and text line. 1-800-838-9476 is where you can reach us toll free. You can email me, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, where we are streaming live via the DanoCam. You can also watch it on Facebook, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, and on our YouTube channel. Just search for Dan O'Donnell or Dan O'Donnell Show. Essentially, last night's debate was over before it really began. Within the first 4 words of Biden's very first answer, he started coughing, he sounded hoarse, he sounded feeble, and he looked to the entire world like a man who was not fit to be the president of the Condo Association, let alone the United States.
Let's take a look at what I was left when I became president and what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach into your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do is try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs. And we brought out the position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. But there's more to be done.
Almost immediately, panic set in. And within the first half hour of the debate, you started to see the story circulate amongst the intelligentsia and the news anchors like Kelly O'Donnell and news outlets like Axios, reporting that, according to 2 sources familiar with the situation, President Biden has a cold. A cold. I believe what they meant to report was that his brain literally froze up in front of the entire world. Ladies and gentlemen, if we are to point to 1 minute, not just in the debate, but 1 minute in President Biden's entire term in office that cost Democrats, even his most ardent supporters, to turn on him, this was that minute.
We have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24% or 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our health care system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
That was it. That was 57 seconds that destroyed a presidency. Everything in those 57 seconds that Biden had been trying to hide, that all the president's men had been trying to hide about Biden's physical and mental condition, came crashing down. At that point, no amount of spin, no amount of lies about Republican deep fake or cheap fake videos selectively edited to make Biden look enfeebled, all of that came crashing down. An entire presidency came crashing down in those 57 seconds, because in those 57 seconds, it became beyond apparent that this man was not up to the job. Within 15 minutes after the debate ended on CNN, the network that hosted the debate, Van Jones, I think the most honest Democrat, honest it seems almost to a fault, laid out exactly what most Democrats were feeling.
I can walk you through how I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. as a good man. He loves his country. He's doing the best that he can. But he had a test to meet tonight to restore confidence of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider taking a different course now. We're still far from our convention, and there is time for this party to figure out a different way forward if he will allow us to do that. But that was not what we needed from Joe Biden, and it's personally painful for a lot of people. It's not just panic, it's pain of what we saw tonight.
What have I been saying for the past 3 years? If you want to know what Democrats are thinking, look no further than the front page of noted Democrat website, The Drudge Report. Now, you folks might have grown up in the Bush administration, the Obama administration, even the early days of the Trump administration, and thought that Drudge was a conservative website. Nope, it has turned into the pulse of whatever spin Democrats want out there. It's actually kind of remarkable. Here is the front page of the Drudge Report right now. Operation Replace Biden. Dems scramble with 130 days to go. Debate catastrophe. White House spins worst performance in history. Joe has a cold. U.S. allies watch with shaking hands and a question. What now? China mocks. Very entertaining. Big Drudge poll. Who should replace Biden? Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, or other? New York Post picture. The headline of the front page, just sad. Prez mumbles, stumbles, freezes in train wreck debate versus Trump. Other headlines, the end of a presidency. Chances of winning plummet. Jill needs to step up now. You want more proof that this is it for the Biden presidency among the leading lights of the Democratic Party? Where does the news get its news? The Associated Press has claimed that mantle forever, where the news gets its news, where the left wing gets its news, and where the left wing gets its spin, where it gets its direction, is the New York Times editorial board. In fact, there was an anecdote years ago that the New York Times morning meeting, that the people in it with an amazing sense of self-importance said, this is where we decided on the agenda for the entire country for the day. In the New York Times morning meeting, meaning whatever they put out there as stories, whatever they focused on would be the focus on the entire country, because the rest of the media follows the New York Times. The left follows the New York Times editorial board, and it has just tremendous sway and tremendous power. Do you want to hear the op-eds from various members of the New York Times editorial staff? Thomas L. Friedman, President Biden is my friend. He must bow out of the race. Frank Bruni, Biden cannot go on like this. Patrick Healy, I'm hearing high anxiety from Democrats over Biden's debate performance. Nicholas Kristof, President Biden, it's time to drop out. Why wouldn't they panic when even questions that were tailor-made for Joe Biden to perform well, like Dana Bash bringing up abortion far earlier than you might think. In fact, I watched her bring up abortion early and said, wow, they're really bringing in the big guns to try to save Biden. It seems like even Tapper and Bash recognized how poorly he was performing. You saw Tapper just step in when Biden said, we finally beat Medicare, and just sort of cut him off. That, it seemed like, was a mercy end to that. Biden was starting to ramble. He had no idea what he was talking about. And Tapper stepped in. Bash then moved the conversation onto far friendlier terms for Biden. And that, of course, was abortion. Even on the abortion answer, he was nonsensical.
Look, there's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered. And he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in. They talk about that. But here's the deal. There's a lot of young women who are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters it's just ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it, and they try to arrest them when they cross state lines.
Thank you.
I too weep for all of the women who have been raped by their sisters. You heard Danabash again. He's talking nonsensically. They stepped in to try to save him. Now it seems that members of the media are urging Democrats to step in and save Biden, yes, but also save the country from Trump. The narrative is now being set. This is bigger than Biden. Yes, it's going to be painful. We all love him, but this is about something much bigger. It's about saving democracy. And if Biden is standing in the way, if he is so infirm that he's going to be standing in the way from our noble saving of democracy from the evil tyrant Donald Trump, then he needs to step aside for the good of the country. Morning Joe Scarborough, just about an hour and a half ago.
I'm not saying that everything happens today and maybe we wait a week. I'm just saying personal feelings, personal admiration, love, respect, honor, all the things I talked about in my feelings about Joe Biden, Jill Biden, and their family, that Mika and her family have felt about Joe Biden for 50 years, that I felt for as long as I've known him, that you felt about Joe Biden. They cannot play a role in any of this. This is a battle for the future of American democracy. And now is a good time. In June, thank God, in June, and not October, in June, this is the last chance for Democrats to decide whether this man we've known and loved for a very long time is up to the task of running for president of the United States.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is about as big of an admission as it gets. Thank God that it was in June, not October. You know, when debates usually are held. Thank God that this debate, which just happened to be months before every other presidential debate in presidential debate history, thank God that this showed everybody that Biden needs to be replaced long before the convention. After the convention, it's too late. The ballots are printed. He's the nominee. Short of him dying or becoming so infirm that he literally is bedridden, there's pretty much nothing you can do. But thank God, according to Morning Joe Scarborough, that this happened in June. Now, it seems very bizarre then that it was the Biden team. Remember, Biden got up in that very heavily edited video on X, formerly known as Twitter, to challenge Trump to a debate. June 27th, everybody thought this is a random day for a debate. First of all, in June, a lot of people are on vacation. Very few people are watching television, except, unfortunately, for Biden and the Democrats last night, when everyone in the world seemed to be watching that debate. Why June? Why so early? Why before the conventions? Because it gives Democrats now the opportunity to make a change. This, as one astute Facebook commenter last night posted, this was not panic. This is a narrative shift. The shift is now it's okay to notice that the emperor has no clothes, or in this case, no fully functioning brain. It's okay to notice because now, yes, hey, your lying eyes are not looking at cheap fake videos. You're looking at a president who needs to be replaced for the good of the country, for the good of democracy. Trump is so uniquely evil that we don't want to do this to Joe. Nobody wants to do this to Joe, but the stakes are simply too high. And wouldn't you know it, thank goodness we have an opportunity 3 months out to do something about it. The convention isn't until August. It also seemed like the Democratic National Convention was rather late this year. Also interesting timing, giving Democrats plenty of time. If it's going to be Gavin Newsom, if it's going to be Kamala Harris, if it's going to be some dark horse like possibly Whitmer, another name that I've seen floated around is Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, since Pennsylvania probably is going to be determinative of the presidential election in the Electoral College this year. Whomever it is, it gives Democrats plenty of time to introduce said candidate to the American people. Folks, I have believed for a long time, just given the timing of this, that Democrats were fully expecting this to happen, that the reason that this debate is in June and not September or October, when debates almost always are, is because if this happened in October, the election would be over. Trump would win in a landslide. He would probably win Virginia. He would probably win Minnesota. He would win states that you wouldn't expect him to win, because the fundamental question, the base fundamental question, not is, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? It's not, do you like this guy better than the other guy? Did the current guy do a better job than the former guy? The baseline question that voters ask themselves is this man or woman up to the job? Physically, mentally, ultimately, a presidential election is an extended job interview. And if the candidate doesn't possess the requisite physical or mental tools, as it became very apparent last night that Biden does not, then he doesn't get the job. Your phone calls, your texts, and plenty of audio sound bites coming up right here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Conservative thought, not just talk. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show. Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Coming back to Las Vegas, September 20th and 21st. Streaming live only on Hulu.
Don't miss
Big Sean, Camila Cabello, Doja Cat, Gwen Stefani, Hozier, Keith Urban, New Kids on the Block, Paramore, Shabuzi, The Black Crowes, Thomas Rhett, Victoria Monet,
and more.
Get tickets to our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, right now, before they sell out.
At AXS.com.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. Over the last 75 years, the Lynch family has understood the value of a relationship with their own customers, their employees, and also their community. That's just one of the reasons they've been awarded a Top Workplace Award for the 5th consecutive year. Happy employees provide top-level service, and if you're tired of the same old car buying experience and want to be treated like family, let them show you the Lynch difference. With Lynch Certified, every qualified vehicle comes with peace of mind in the form of a 3-month, 3,000-mile certified warranty. Lynch Protected covers your windshield, road hazards, and paint for 1 year. With locations in Burlington, Kenosha, West Bend, and 3 stores in the McWanago community, Lynch is easy and convenient to find. Come and get treated like family and experience the Lynch difference, or find them online at shoplynch.com.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
Warshawski's Victor Harding, Best Lawyers Product Liability Attorney of the Year, achieves maximum compensation.
Best Lawyers Complex Litigation Lawyer of the Year, Warshawski's Frank Cravello, achieves maximum injury compensation.
Injured?
It is about the money.
Warshawski.com.
If you've got a military, first responder, or government service background, GovX.com is for you. You stepped up to serve our country and communities, and GovX delivers unbeatable deals that you've earned. GovX.com is the only site built exclusively to honor your service. Members save on thousands of trusted brands, tickets, travel, and more. See if you qualify. Visit GovX.com and join for free today. Use code RADIO15 in the shopping cart to get an extra $15 off your first order. GovX. Savings for those who serve.
Your pet isn't just a pet, they're part of your family. Most of the pet food on the market is cooked at high temperatures, which kills nutrients. A scoop of Dynavite is a 3-in-1 daily supplement, adding back key nutrients to your pup's health. Try Dynavite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at DINOVITE.com/radio. That's Dynavite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynavite.
The DEFCON 1 debate for Dems. David Plouffe one of the chief architects of President Obama's 2 election wins, calls this a DEFCON 1 moment. President Biden's disaster. I don't even think you can call it a disastrous debate. This was a presidency-ending debate performance.
Well, I think consistent with your reaction, Rachel, and others on the panel, it's kind of a DEFCON 1 moment. I do think Lawrence and Chris give a very important caveat. Listen, I've been deeply involved in presidential campaign debates. Some went well, some didn't go well. The only thing that matters, and you won't really know for 3 or 4 days, is how the voters that will decide this election will react. I would also add, I have deep suspicion that Donald Trump with swing voters bombed as well. And that's the tragedy, because I think Joe Biden, the biggest thing in this election is voters' concerns, and it's both swing voters and base voters with his age, and those were compounded tonight.
Compounded? Those were compounded like 80 years of interest. Okay, Trump didn't do anything with swing voters. You know it's got to kill CNN that the rules they put in place to help Joe Biden, no interruptions, no crowd, commercial breaks, all work to Trump's advantage because they eliminated his basest instincts to immediately pounce. You could see, and this was to Trump's immense credit and his team's immense credit. He was so incredibly well prepped for that debate. His facial expressions were not overbearing. He was sitting there listening to everything Biden said. And then, as you heard with a couple of lines, we've got some more audio sound bites from the debate itself, where Trump had the absolute most knockout blow I think I've ever heard. I'm not sure what Biden said in that last line, and I'm not sure he knows what he said either. Also, the way that Trump was able to answer the January 6th question. On January 6th, 2021, we had peace, we had prosperity, we were respected as a nation. That, of course, didn't answer the question about whether he incited violence, which he most certainly did not. And it was remarkable to me how many of these myths about Trump actually made it into the debate. The extended discussion about the Charlottesville. This is a widely debunked lie. The haters the suckers and losers. He's at Normandy. This defies belief. And oh yeah, John Kelly, the former chief of staff, General John Kelly, suddenly said, after years of saying Trump never said it, 19 people who were there said, Trump never called these people suckers and losers. Are you joking me? No. And then, of course, Kelly finally said, well, yeah, he definitely said it when he had a book to sell about Trump. Remarkable how that works. But the bloodbath lie, injecting bleach lie, all of these myths, it's kind of remarkable how these myths just sort of became reality, became fact. But even that, nobody is talking about Donald Trump. Did you notice this? Not one person is talking about Trump's performance because Democrats are too busy freaking out over Biden's. Greg in Pewaukee, you're up first on the Dan O'Donnell post-debate spectacular. How you doing, Greg?
I'm good, Dan. Thank you. I was impressed with Trump before I go into Biden, how he was calm and focused and didn't get, didn't lose it on some things that Joe was saying. And I'm surprised that the Dems are surprised by Biden's performance when we've seen how he is for, a couple years now. You can see a massive decline since like the first debate compared to this one. And this is what you get from Biden after a week of prep. What would you get from him off the cuff? And when he brought up the fact that no troops have died under his presidency, which was a complete lie when the 12 or 13 died in Afghanistan, I thought right after that Trump would just pounce all over him. But it's sad that this is who they trot out there.
This also raises a much more troubling question. Thank you very much for the phone call, Greg, that one of our listeners texted to us after last night's dumpster fire performance from Biden. Doesn't this expose the bigger question of who is currently running the country? Biden is in charge of nuclear codes, and they were afraid of Trump. That's it exactly. This was Biden who basically took a week-long vacation from the presidency. They were openly admitting that the man is not in charge of the country for a week. But they're still, are they still pretending that behind closed doors he's just fine? It's just every time you people see him, That's when he happens to be back. It's just in private, he's doing back handsprings while singing I Am the Very Model of a Modern Major General. Let's go to Wayne in Allentown. You're up next on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Hi, Dan. Thanks. Trump talked about Biden never firing anyone. I think the first fire he should have is the White House physician. Is there no responsibility for the White House physician to protect the American public and our country from someone who's not all there?
It would seem as though there's a responsibility on behalf of pretty much everybody who is close to the president. Do you remember all of the leaks coming from the Trump administration about how Trump was a danger to democracy? Remember the anonymous leaker? There's oh my gosh, it might be Mike Pence leaking about how bad and how dangerous and what a threat to democracy Trump. Turns out it's some low-level staffer, and I think it was Homeland Security who nobody can remember, Miles Taylor, I believe. It was just some random no-name. Everybody was coming out of the woodwork. Do you remember, Wayne, when without any evidence whatsoever, about 2017, 2018, there were all of these psychologists who signed an open letter saying, we haven't ever treated Trump, but we're going to violate every single tenet and standard of our profession by diagnosing him with severe mental illness. There was talk about the 25th Amendment almost from the moment that Trump took office, but there hasn't been a single person. In fact, quite the opposite. Every single person from the White House to the Democrats in Congress to the media has been telling us everything is fine. Now, let me ask you this. Since it's so obvious that they've been lying, I think for 3 years, it was apparent that Biden was not the same person that he was when he was vice president as he was campaigning from his basement, you might remember, in the summer of 2020. It was rather obvious as he took office. You could see the decline every time he came out in public. What does that say about the media? What does that say about all the president's handlers? That they are just flat out lying to you, knowing full well, because I've heard the whispers from Democrats here in Wisconsin. They all know that Joe has been slipping, but they're all perfectly fine lying to you. Now, this should raise a very important, larger question. What else have they been lying to you about? On policy, about Trump, about COVID, about everything and anything? And the answer to that question, what have they been lying about, should make you immediately suspect everything. We'll take more of your phone calls. Give us a call. Shoot us a text, 414-799-1130 or 1-800-838-9476. Emails to dod@iheartmedia.com. We'll be right back.
Conservative thought, not just talk. The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
Well, that's why you have to check out our website. We're pretty proud of our before and after photos because they show off just how good we really are. I can confidently say that whatever you bring us, we're going to use every bit of magic we have to turn it into a one-of-a-kind work of art. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. Mullally finishing.com. If it's worth restoring, we're going to tell you. If it's not worth the cost of restoring, then we're going to give you an honest answer. You don't stay in the furniture finishing business for nearly 50 years unless you're honest and talented. Luckily, we're both. And that means all of your expectations will be met. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
Dan O'Donnell here. It's This Week with Annex Wealth Management. Filling in for Dave Spano is Annex's chief economist, Brian Jacobson. And Brian, this week, as has been the talk for pretty much the past several weeks and year and a half, is NVIDIA very briefly surpassing Microsoft to be the biggest company in the world.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see last week how NVIDIA became the most valuable company in the world, surpassing Microsoft, even though Microsoft has about 3 times the amount of revenue as NVIDIA. It's somewhat reminiscent of what happened during the 1960s and 1970s with this phenomenon called the Nifty 50. It is suddenly, maybe it's Nifty NVIDIA. If you remember that, the 60s and 70s, you had these 50 large cap companies, blue chip, really great growth prospects, and they did really well for a number of years, but all of a sudden their valuations really couldn't hold up in a challenging economic environment. Those companies, they were leaders in their industries, seen as having really strong growth potential, strong and stable earnings, and suddenly they began to falter. So we'll have to see if NVIDIA is able to regain that crown, or is this like a game King of the Hill, where all of a sudden, people are kind of pushing each other off to the top of it?
Well, it certainly seems that way because you've had NVIDIA, you've had Apple, you've had Microsoft for a long time. Tesla was the darling of the stock market before some significant issues there. It is remarkable, though, Brian, how companies that are the largest today in the next several decades will be nowhere near, and such is the nature of technological innovation. Such is also the reason you need to know what you own and why you own it, and why you need to head to annexwealth.com. For Brian Jacobson, I'm Dan O'Donnell saying thanks for listening to This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Discover a career that matters at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Be part of an innovative team delivering world-class health care and benefits to America's veterans. Enjoy robust benefits, work-life balance, and career development opportunities. Join a diverse and inclusive community that values your unique background and skills. A community where nearly 1 in 3 of your colleagues are veterans themselves. Apply now at vacareers.va.gov.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
This is Mike and Jim from Brillo Home Improvements. Past work is definitely an indicator of future results. Don't you think, Mike? Well, of course. And that's why we proudly display a whole lot of our past work at BrilloHomeImprovements.com. We figure, hey, you get to know us with these little conversations we keep having with you, and then, when you're ready, you go to our website, you see the beautiful and well-photographed images of a whole bunch of our work, and that'll give us a good shot, at the very least, of you giving us a call to talk about what we can do to make your project the next one we post. It'll be another winner. Darn tootin'. For NARI award-winning home remodeling and about as down-to-earth of an approach as you're going to find. Call Brillo, because past work is an indicator of the future results we intend to show you after you've let us take on your next new home remodeling project.
Transforming your dreams into reality. Brillo, Brillo, Brillo.
Kevin Sorbo here, and I have an important message to share. If you owe the IRS back taxes, they can garnish your wages and levy your bank accounts. They can even seize your retirement or take your home. Tax Network USA is A+ rated and has saved over $500 million for their clients. Whether you owe a few thousand or a few million, they can help you.
Call Tax Network USA at 800-728-2000 or visit tnusa.com. That's 800-728-2000 or visit tnusa.com.
Call Callan to remodel your kitchen or bathroom or to replace windows and doors. Callan, design, build, live. Call 414-529-5509. Visit callcallan.com or stop at its Muskego Design Center.
At Coal Investment Group, we go beyond retirement investment planning to build a relationship that allows us to better understand your unique goals and needs. That's what separates us from the rest. If you're ready to retire on your terms, give us a call today at 262-522-4040.
Hey, join us on Monday. It's the final June weekend of the year. I'm excited for 4th.
to the Dan O'Donnell Show. President Biden's disastrous debate performance has even Claire McCaskill, one of the most loyal Democrats, former senator from Missouri. She has been a staple on MSNBC's programming. Even she is deeply concerned about Biden's performance from yesterday.
I have been a surrogate for some presidential candidates in my time. I know what the job is after a debate of a surrogate. I've never wanted to be a surrogate more than I do right now. Because when you're a surrogate, you have to focus on the positives. But I have said very clearly and very plainly on this network, and my job now is to be really honest. Joe Biden had one thing he had to do tonight, and he didn't do it. He had one thing he had to accomplish, and that was reassure America that he was up to the job at his age. And he failed at that tonight.
Let's go back to the phones. Talk to Jeff in Waterford. You're on the Dan O'Donnell Show. How you doing, Jeff?
Good, Dan. How about yourself?
Not too bad.
Trump he was a little more Trumpy than I wanted him to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think he missed some low-hanging fruit. With Ukraine, he had a chance to say that Biden's State Department went to Boris Johnson and said, stop the early peace talks on tax cuts. When Biden said, oh, it was just for the wealthy, Trump missed the chance to say every bracket went down, and in 25, when he lets them expire, everyone's taxes are going up. I think he was restrained to a point, but I still think he was a little more Trumpy than I'd like to see. And the problem with that is the squishy middle. Did Trump move the needle? Are there undecideds that, as much as a train wreck as Biden was, did he move the needle for the middle? And I'm not sure he did it in that debate.
You're focusing entirely on the thing that literally nobody else in America is focusing on, Jeff. And I mean no disrespect by this. Let me guess, you're not a big Trump supporter. You're a Republican, but you don't particularly care for him.
Yeah. Okay. I'm voting for him. I voted for him twice. I'm voting for him a third time. I wish we had a better option.
Isn't it remarkable how I can kind of tease that out within the first 15 seconds? And Jeff, please don't misunderstand. I'm not trying to say, I know your entire political philosophy, but the fact that you were so laser focused on Trump, and I'm not discounting that there are probably a good number of voters who are. Do you remember one specific line? Can you quote one line that Trump said verbatim? Now, maybe there were a couple of knockout blows. This one was actually pretty spectacular, where he said, you know what, well, let's save this audio soundbite because we do need to move on. But when he said, I don't know what he just said, referring to Biden, and I don't think he does either. That was probably it. The point, though, Jeff, is that debates aren't about specific policy exchanges. And what you're talking about is very substantive policy. And this is good. I was watching for that as well. And in fact, I didn't like some of the same gripe that I've always had with Trump is he doesn't have the total grasp and command of the facts, where he can't immediately just boom, 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 hit Biden with, like, he sort of is halfway there when it came to rebutting Charlottesville. And he said, well, I said, but he doesn't say this is exactly what I said. He said, they just debunked it. Everyone debunked it. Everyone knows it. Well, who debunked it? Snopes finally came around. He doesn't have that. So I get it. Believe me. The overwhelming majority of people don't focus on the policy exchanges. They don't focus on that because the overwhelming majority of people, Jeff, aren't like you and I who are very into this stuff. I mean, I host a talk show. You listen to a talk show. You're obviously very knowledgeable about policy and politics and all of this, right? The overwhelming majority, the quote unquote squishy middle, is looking for just an overall feel. They might not even understand what Ukraine funding funding is, okay? And I mean, I don't mean that they're stupid. I just don't. They have no interest in it, right? But they still vote.
Right.
And what they're focusing on and what they're waking up to right now is a barrage of, holy cow, Biden was so bad he might actually need to drop out of the race. That his own party, his own allies in media are openly calling for him to drop out of the race. Nobody's talking about Trump. Did you notice that? Like, you said, okay, Trump was a little too Trumpy. I actually thought because of the format of the debate, it reined in his worst instincts. He wasn't able to interrupt. He wasn't able to, be overbearing and boorish. That's all he needed to do. He just needed to not remind the squishy middle, the conservative-leaning women from suburbia, why they hated him. Okay? They understand. Everybody understands how much prices have gone up. Everybody understands how they can really no longer afford the things that they could afford easily under Trump. That in just 3 years, inflation and price hikes have been dramatic. And Biden even admitted at one point during the debate, yeah, inflation happened on my watch. Oh, okay. But even beyond that, the squishy middle is looking to see if one of these two men is up to the job. Biden had about as low a hurdle to clear as one could imagine. And he fell flat on his face. Almost literally, he fell flat on his face. When MSNBC, Rachel Maddow and Nicole Wallace, they had all of the big guns on last night after the debate. When they're openly speculating how exactly the process of replacing Biden at the convention could work, you know what the focus is for the entire country.
That's a fantasy, saying that's, you either need to right the ship or do the thing that's not going to happen, which is to replace him on the ticket. I don't think that's an option. But the fact that people are talking about it, if it's not an option, only seeks to further weaken the perception, weaken the standing of President Biden. The question is whether you're hearing that it is an option, that there is some viable means of doing it.
I spoke to an election lawyer. It is legal, and the way it happens is Joe Biden releases his delegates ahead of the convention, and you can't do it on the first vote, but I think on the second vote they can go somewhere else. So it is legal. It is possible. And I think when people say it won't happen, it's because they think Joe Biden would never do it for the reasons Joy already articulated. He's the only person who beat Trump. And he believes, and he has some reason to believe this, that he's the only one who can.
And here's the thing, folks, that nobody's really talking about as we're playing fantasy presidential ticket, like people play fantasy football. It is not easy at this stage of the game. In fact, it's nigh on impossible to replace. Biden has a war chest of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. FEC rules, Federal Election Commission rules, don't just allow you to give all of that money to the next guy. You would need somebody who would be able to raise a staggering amount of cash very quickly. And it's not just to raise that amount of money to defeat Trump, but also to introduce yourself. 90% of the country has no idea who Gretchen Whitmer is. I would say 60% of the country has no idea who Gavin Newsom is. You need to get on the air. You need to be a ubiquitous presence everywhere Americans consume any sort of media in order to introduce yourself to the American people. And we're 130 days away from the election, 129 days now, I believe. That is a tiny amount of time, considering presidential campaigns essentially start as soon as the last presidential election cycle is over. We have a permanent presidential campaign in this country. It's not as though someone can just be plucked out of the sky and instantly be a viable contender, not to mention getting on the ballot in all 50 states. There are a lot of practical concerns. We will lay those out. Take more of your phone calls. Take more of your texts, more audio sound bites, more post-debate, post-Biden presidency recap on the Dan O'Donnell
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Dan O'Donnell here for the incredible team at Mander Collision and Glass, now with 6 locations to serve you. And you hear me talk about my great experiences with Mander all the time. Here's David, I had a chip in my windshield of my 2009 Chevy Malibu repaired today. Scheduling was a breeze. Staff was great. I was in and out in under half an hour. That's the Mander difference for you. Quick, professional work with customer service that's second to none. They treat you as a valued member of the family and not just a number like some of the big national chains. It's service that you can only get with a third-generation family business, and that's why I've been using Mander Collision and Glass for so many years, and so many listeners are now discovering and have discovered the Mander difference too. You can check them out at any one of their great locations, Cedarburg, Brookfield, Heartland, Milwaukee, Muskego, or Waukesha, and start your repair today at mandercollision.com.
Uline is here for the hard workers, for the ones rolling up their sleeves, working round the clock, and getting the job done. You're dedicated to doing what it takes to keep a business growing. Uline is dedicated to helping you make that happen. Working 7 days a week, staying fully stocked and ready to ship any of our 41,000 items the same day. Uline, your shipping and industrial supply specialists. Visit uline.com.
The reviews are in, and folks seem to like how we do business. And what's more, they can't get over the level of service and real estate expertise they get for far less than what they'd pay an agent from a big-name company. At 3.5 to 3.9%, you'll save up to nearly 50% in commission by choosing a Benefit Realty full-service agent. Everything they do, we do, for up to 50% less. There's no catch. I'm Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, where you pay less for full service. See our success stories at benefit-realty.com. One day, a 3.5 to 3.9% real estate commission structure will be commonplace. But for now, it's not the case. So you can pay 6% for what we can do for about half that, or you can pay less for full service. For some, it's hard to believe, but for our customers, they know it to be true. I'm Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, and our agents understand the meaning of great customer service. And you'll see they're the cream of the crop. So don't pay more than you have to. Pay less for full service with Benefit Realty. Benefit-realty.com.
Hey guys, welcome to the Home Box Stop. Ready for those new kitchen cabinets and countertops? Okay, well let's get you guys going. Inches, centimeters, inches, right?
Right.
Is this your first time? Oh, no. Been here for years. Actually, in light bulbs. I'm covering for Karen. She took the week off. One sec. No worries. The computer does all the work.
Customer assistance to light bulbs.
Oh, that's me, BRB.
Yeah,
let's go.
Granite Plus?
Hurry, here she comes.
Hi, I'm Laz with Granite Plus. Countertops and cabinets is what we do. As a meticulously detailed local fabricator, say goodbye to the middleman and upgrade your home with real factory direct savings. Homeowners, flippers, contractors, why would you pay more? Go to graniteplususa.com, that's graniteplususa.com, or visit any of our Milwaukee area showrooms and start saving today.
If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Their physicians specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center. See orthowisconsin.com.
Kevin Sorbo here, and I have an important message to share. If you owe the IRS back taxes, they can garnish your wages and levy your bank accounts. They can even seize your A-plus rated and have saved over $500 million for their clients. Whether you owe a few thousand or a few million, they can help you.
Call Tax Network USA at 800-728-2000 or visit tnusa.com. That's 800-728-2000 or visit tnusa.com.
I'm Dan Small. Join me and Jeff Kelm for Outdoors Radio, Saturday mornings at 6 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Brought to you by the Range of Richfield, the ultimate shooting experience on Helson Drive in Richfield and online at therangewi.com.
Restoring your home or business to its natural beauty is our only business. We are Wisconsin's most trusted carpet cleaner for over 75 years.
Edelman Carpet, Furniture, and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
I've changed in the way that now
you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
That was a knockout blow, like down goes Frazier. And as producer Dave says, that was, compared to other stuff Biden said, marginally coherent. More post-debate, perhaps post-Biden candidacy analysis coming up in just a second. First, though, it's time to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
Does that make me crazy?
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day is none other than White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. Why, you might ask? Because it was just 9 days ago that she got up in front of the entire country at a daily press briefing and called all of those videos of Biden looking confused, wandering off, cheap fakes. That, in fact, you couldn't believe your own eyes and ears, but should rather just trust what the government says.
There seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern that we're seeing more often.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith, and some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these the right-wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation, disinformation, and so we see this, and this is something coming from your part of the world, calling them cheap fakes and misinformation.
So, anybody going to ask KJP, hey, Karine, was last night a cheap fake? Was this an AI mock-up of President Biden? Karine Jean-Pierre and everyone who tried to flat out lie to you that somehow the videos of Joe Biden were not real. You're unhinged liberals of the day. Fox News is currently playing video that you probably didn't see from the debate. Trump walking off stage, just kind of exiting stage left. Jill Biden walking up to Joe and literally taking him by the hand and leading him very haltingly down the stairs, where he talked with Jake Tapper and Dana Bash afterwards. Following the debate, Joe actually held a rally. And Jill actually said, Joe, you did a great job. You answered all the questions. It sounded like a mother praising her toddler for going pee-pees in the potty for the first time. After that rally, apparently, Biden said, thank you very much, North Carolina. They were in Atlanta, Georgia. Biden is in North Carolina for a rally today. Trump, incidentally, is in Virginia. I do hope our friends on Clay and Buck dip into that, because you know doggone well Trump is going to have a field day with this. Frankly, if I were the Trump campaign, I would, after this rally, disappear. Just lay low. Don't do a ton of rallies. Don't be visible. Don't make any focus on you, because the focus of the entire country right now is how senile and enfeebled your opponent is. So anything Trump says, you know doggone well, the media is going to try its best to move on from this. Your goal is to make sure that it can. We're, of course, not going to move on. Plenty of calls, plenty of audio sound bites, texts, emails as well. Next.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN. Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. $1 million bail is set for a man charged in a Pewaukee crash that killed two. Wednesday, 49-year-old Jade Moan drove his pickup into the back of a car, killing a 76-year-old woman. He then sped into a construction zone, killing one worker and injuring another. According to a criminal complaint, Moan told a deputy he had a seizure and blacked out before the crash. In addition, his driver's license was void, and Moan said his license was revoked because he had epilepsy. Waukesha County Court Commissioner David Herring.
Mr. Mullen had no business behind the wheel of a vehicle. He just didn't. Zero.
Mullen faces several charges, including first-degree reckless homicide. For a second time, the Wisconsin Elections Commission ruled that organizers of a recall effort against Assembly Speaker Robin Vos fell short of collecting needed signatures. The Republican appointee Don Millis argued some signatures were collected after a deadline.
I disagree with the idea that we're giving Representative Vos a pass. We have a statute that says signatures collected after the 60th day don't count.
The commissioners voted 4-2 in support of Millis's resolution. Some Democrats have begun calling for President Joe Biden to step aside so the party can nominate another candidate after he stumbled badly in last night's debate against former President Donald Trump. The fear these Democrats have is that the version of Biden that showed up at the debate last night can't win in November. Checking the WISN Sports Scoreboard, the Brewers begin a weekend series against the Chicago Cubs tonight at American Family Field. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab-overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit LynchTruckCenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN. Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Rain and thunderstorms return to the forecast today. There is a chance for stronger to severe storms at times, so please stay very weather aware. High today near 76, should be near 70 tonight. Storms wind down early tomorrow morning. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Grand Appliance. Choose Grand Appliance for superior service, fast delivery, and unbeatable deals like a 5-burner Frigidaire gas or electric range in black stainless for just $4.99. Shop GrandAppliance.com or your local showroom today. That's Grand Appliance, experts since 1930.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement to stock market risk? How would you like the potential to participate in credited interest from market index returns and limit the downside? Join Joe Brown for the Safe Money and Income Radio Show on Sunday at 7:30 a.m. and 8 p.m.
It was a doozy, all right. Apparently, things got a little out of hand, as evidenced by the job description.
Repair heel marks on conference table.
You get the picture. Office party, a few too many drinks, and a gal who felt compelled to use the top of the conference table as a dance floor. And as you expected, we showed up on site and made that tabletop as good as new. By golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. Well, if you haven't heard me bragging by now, we're darn good. Actually, my dad has no qualms about saying we're the best. And if you're skeptical, I understand. But all you have to do is go to MullallyFinishing.com to learn why we're great at what we do and see lots of before and after photos that show off our impressive work. So if you're looking for a name you can trust, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
Each day, there's a sliver of time when you can almost breathe freely, and you feel better when you can. But you know that eventually that sliver of time closes, along with your nose. It puts a damper on your day every day. So you pop a pill or you take a spray to try to get that relief back. But it's always short-lived. And all the while in your efforts to give yourself relief, you may be making your nasal breathing problems worse. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and a simple in-office procedure from Advent called balloon sinuplasty could be the fast and convenient answer to your breathing triangle problems. Advent has been a leader in this procedure, which can be hard to find elsewhere. It's simple, there's little to no downtime, and it really can be life-changing.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Kevin Sorbo here, and I have an important message to share. If you owe the IRS back taxes, they can garnish your wages and levy your bank accounts. They can even seize your retirement or take your home. Tax Network USA is A+ rated and has saved over $500 million for their clients. Whether you owe a few thousand or a few million, they can help you.
Call Tax Network USA at 800-728-2000 or visit tnusa.com. That's 800-728-2000 or visit tnusa.com.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
Be sure to listen to the Annex Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Annex provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Dedicated to providing right-minded candor on the issues that matter to you. This is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130, WISN.
Was this the end of Joe Biden's presidency? A whole lot of Democrats seem to think so. And there is outright panic in the media right now. Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. If you would like to join us, we're taking your calls, we're taking your texts, emails too, sprinkling them throughout the show. Coming up later this hour, we'll get debate reaction from Senator Ron Johnson. Also, it's Friday, strangest stories of the past 7 days. How bizarre. We could really just play a montage of random stuff that Joe Biden said and just call it a day. How about this? It doesn't get stranger than this. A presidential debate devolving into two old guys arguing about their golf games.
You can see he is 6'5" and only 225 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's what you're. Anyway, just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. The reason I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie, that he's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8. But I have, you know how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing. Let's not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to
Let's not act like children.
Ladies and gentlemen, if this is the future of American politics, I am here for it. Here's a suggestion. Next debate. Longest drive contest. You know how they do that, the challenge where you've got a celebrity who is like Aaron Rodgers against Tom Brady, and they're paired with a professional. You've got Biden and let's see, who's a big lib golfer? I don't think I can name one. They're all conservatives. No, Mickelson's a huge conservative. I am fairly certain Phil Mickelson. Tiger Woods. You get Trump and Tiger Woods. Tiger doesn't talk about it, but I'm almost certain he's a conservative Republican. The dirty little secret is almost all golfers are conservative Republicans. But you get Biden paired with a pro golfer. That's the debate. I'm telling you. this thing will, if you thought the overnight ratings aren't yet in for last night's debate, but if you think the eyes of the political world were on last night's debate, next debate being a longest drive contest, I'm telling you folks, it draws a 90 share. Incidentally, did you pick up on Biden claiming he was a 6 handicap? Trump immediately calling on him, saying, he called him on it. He said, "You're not a 6 handicap. I've seen your swing, Joe." And then Biden immediately goes, "Look it up. I was an 8 handicap." Wait a second. Your handicap just went up 2 strokes. This is like every inveterate liar you've ever seen. Everybody who engages in this sort of puffery about themselves, when they're called on a lie, they'll immediately retreat to something that's still a lie, but what they believe to be a more believable lie. Joe, you weren't a 6 handicap. Okay, I was an 8. By the way, can we just appreciate the fact that Democrats and their allies in the media, after we saw what we saw last night, after the entire world saw what it saw last night, that for the past few months, as questions have really compounded and become a huge problem for Biden about his physical and mental fitness, that we had people swearing up and down from across the Biden administration that, he might wander off and fall off his bike and say nonsensical things and just generally look confused in public. But behind closed doors, this man is as sharp as it gets. Here's a montage we put together.
Joe Biden has vision. He has knowledge. He has a strategic thinker. This is a very sharp president.
President Biden, who I've been around numerous times just in this last year, is sharp. He's focused. He's bright.
He is sharp. He is on top of things. When we have meetings with him, with his staff, he's constantly pushing us, trying to get more information.
This is a man who is sharp, who is on top of his game, who knows what's going on.
The most difficult part about a meeting with President Biden is preparing for it, because he is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
Oh, yeah, clearly, Secretary Mayorkas. He's super sharp. Is that why Democrats, who obviously have the ear and cell phone number of one Joy Reid, were texting her in an absolute panic last night?
Democrats, they always talk about Democrats are bedwetters and Democrats are always panicking. Yes, Democrats are always panicking. They're always scared, right? They're always thinking they're going to lose. Like, Democrats are very pessimistic. This is just neurotic. Who they are. They're neurotic. But Joe Biden's job was to reassure them tonight. His job was to calm his party, to make them feel that, yes, I can do this. I have 4 more years in me. I have the ability and the stamina and the strength to do 4 more years. He did not do that. He did the opposite of that. He made them more panicked. The people who were texting me were even more panicked. They actually expected it to be better than it was. And now they're in I won't say a full-fledged panic, but it's getting there.
It's getting there. Now, the narrative is starting to get set when you get headlines like this from just a couple of minutes ago, 9:59 a.m. Central. This is how quick we move at the Dan O'Donnell Show. Newsweek.com posts this story at 9:59. We're on it immediately. Dr. Jill, PhD, draws backlash after Joe Biden debate fiasco. Monster. First Lady Jill Biden drew backlash from conservatives on social media. Oh, yeah, conservatives on social media. Wink. After President Joe Biden's presidential debate fiasco Thursday evening, with one X, formerly Twitter account, calling her a monster. During CNN's debate in Atlanta last night, Biden answered the moderator's questions with what his administration has currently accomplished and hopes to accomplish in another 4 years if he's reelected in November. This is Newsweek, so the next sentence is very Newsweeky. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump deflected many answers and had little to say about the exact policies he would enact as president. However, the biggest takeaway from the debate was the dismal job Biden did at answering the questions coherently and his overall lackluster presence on stage. A Biden aide, meanwhile, told Newsweek late Thursday night that the president was battling a cold during the debate. There's then, of course, a whole lot of focus on Trump's supposed lies. And oh my gosh, CNN didn't fact check him. That's another thing that the Democrats are claiming, that it was CNN's fault. They didn't do live fact checks of Trump's lies during the debate. How dare they? End Wokeness, a conservative X account, wrote on Thursday night, Jill Biden is a monster, and then posted the clip. Joe, you did such a great job answering every question. You knew all the facts. Now, why does this story get published? End Wokeness is a fantastic account on X. You should be following. And it's great and all, but why are they focusing on one X account? Because it's not conservatives saying this, because it's actually the liberal narrative that the left wants to get out, that Jill Biden needs to step in. Somebody needs to step in and say to Joe, you don't have a chance. You can't win. As Morning Joe Scarborough said this morning, democracy is at stake here. It's far too important. And I believe this is what the pressure on Biden is going to be. Joe, do you really care about this country? Do you really care about saving democracy? Because if so, then you have no choice but to step aside. It's simply too important. Trump is simply too dangerous. And you know things are bad when one of Biden's greatest defenders, someone who is there through thick and thin, mostly thin, Jen Psaki, his former White House press secretary, on MSNBC last night said, look, there's no way to sugarcoat this. It's a disaster.
Well, I've been listening to what you all have been saying, and I don't think we should sugarcoat this. This was not the debate performance that the Biden campaign team wanted or needed from this debate, in part because they wanted to do this debate as early as they did to change this up, right? To bring the Joe Biden who is at the State of the Union to the debate stage. That's not the Joe Biden who showed up at the debate stage.
No, that's the Joe Biden who shows up every single day. But remember, he's totally fine behind closed doors. He's doing an Irish jig while simultaneously reading Tolstoy. Everyone knows this is a lie. And now that lie that has been perpetrated, some might call it the big lie, that has been perpetrated for the past 4 years now, that Biden has not slipped, that he's fully up to the task, has been exposed. And frankly, folks, the Jen Psakis, the Joy Reids, the Chuck Schumers, everyone who has been telling us, Joe's fine, your lying eyes cannot be trusted, you need to listen to us. This is why that cheap fakes narrative that they tried to push out about 8 or 9 days ago was so important, because it was, as I called it, positively Orwellian. It was Big Brother's final, most essential command. You should believe what the party tells you, not what you can see, not what you can perceive. We can all see and perceive Biden's failings, but we're told, no, behind closed doors, he's fine. You people don't know what you're talking about. We know him best, and we know your concerns are unfounded. People don't just need to see and hear. They can feel Bidenflation. They can feel the price hikes. They can feel the fact that the average family of four is paying $12,000 more per year, $1,000 more per month, more than $1,000 just in inflationary costs every single month. You can feel it. You know you are not doing better than you were 4 years ago. You know under Trump the economy was roaring. But again, we're told, well, the economy is doing much better now. People are just too stupid to realize. Why is Biden's message just not taking hold? The stock market is going gangbusters. Home prices are more valuable than they ever were because the average American doesn't have a massive stock portfolio and is living paycheck to paycheck trying to afford rent, which has gone up exponentially because not only have property taxes risen exponentially because of the value of houses going up every single year, but the cost of utilities and everything else has gone up. It isn't as though it's items that are considered luxury items. It's not as though we've got an inflation issue with mega yachts. We've got an inflation issue with energy, with food, with housing, basic staples. Everybody knows this is a problem, but we're constantly told, well, this isn't actually a problem and you're doing much better than you think you are. No, you're not. Don't listen to Big Brother, because if Big Brother has been lying to you about something as big and as fundamental as whether or not the leader of the free world is actually actually up to the job, whether he's physically and mentally able to run the country, then you can just pretty much presume that they're lying to you about all sorts of smaller things as well. Coming up in just a second, our look back at the strangest stories of the past 7 days. How bizarre. After that, we chat with Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson right here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Conservative thought, not just talk. The Dan O'Donnell Show will be right back. Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Coming back to Las Vegas. September 20th and 21st. Streaming live only on Hulu.
Don't miss
Big Sean, Camila Cabello, Doja Cat, Gwen Stefani, Hozier, Keith Urban, New Kids on the Block, Paramore, Shabuzi, The Black Crowes, Thomas Rhett, Victoria Monet,
and more.
Get tickets to our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, right now, before they sell out.
At AXS.com.
Do you have a rotted wood window, foggy or broken glass, having a hard time opening your sliding door? Argo Glass and Windows can fix it all, saving the original look and your budget. Call us today and get a free estimate from Argo, where we repair first, replace at worst. Your one-stop window and door problem solver. Call us at 262-372-7110. That's 262-372-7110. Argo Glass and Windows, 262-372-7110.
Greetings, art lovers. Feast your eyes on my latest artistic masterpiece. I call it the Grayson.
That's the Grayson bedroom from Penny Mustard.
I know.
It does have artistic flair.
Beautiful.
Stunning.
Here's another one. It's called the Ogre. Gaze upon the leathery skin, the yellowed teeth.
That's a mirror.
The Grayson bedroom, starting at just $275 a month with only 1 penny down and no interest till July of 2026. Now through July 7th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Discover a career that matters at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Be part of an innovative team delivering world-class healthcare and benefits to America's veterans. Enjoy robust benefits, work-life balance, and career development opportunities. Join a diverse and inclusive community that values your unique background and skills. A community where nearly 1 in 3 of your colleagues are veterans themselves. Apply now at vacareers.va.gov.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than what we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with a proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SECURE to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text SECURE to 989898. That's SECURE to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold. Message and data rates may apply.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
It is that time of the week when even on days like this, when we have incredibly serious stories to cover. In fact, we didn't even get to a couple of massive Supreme Court rulings that came out over the past couple of hours. One dramatically narrowed the scope of the statute that's been used to prosecute a whole lot of January 6th defendants, meaning a ton of them are going to appeal and probably defeat their convictions on appeal. If we have time, we'll get into that. Plus, a gutting of agency power and returning the regulatory authority to Congress in a ruling in the Chevron case that a lot of people, it honestly might be even more consequential than President Biden's debate ending or presidency ending debate. That's how big this Supreme Court ruling was. It's sort of flown under the radar, but in returning a whole lot of power to Congress, the Supreme Court, I think, reestablished part of the balance of power that had been sorely lacking. Also, here in Wisconsin, Voss recall 2, moronic boogaloo. Unfortunately, dead in its tracks. Wisconsin Elections Commission ruled that they, again, didn't get enough valid signatures. So a massive couple of days in news, but we still focus on the silly here on the Dan O'Donnell Show in a little segment that we call...
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
Gotta be the most bizarre moment in presidential debate history, and frankly, I am just doing this story again because I love the soundbite. It devolved into two old men arguing about who can drive the ball further in golf.
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's what anyway, just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. But I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie, that he's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8? But I had, how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing. Let's not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to...
Let's not act like children.
President Trump saying, let's not act like children. Just the chef's kiss, cherry on top of a delicious sundae that was the end of Biden's presidential career. I was a 6 handicap. You're not a 6 handicap, Joe. Okay, I was an 8 handicap.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
From American elections to Canadian elections, where a man has made history by receiving 0 votes. Not 0%, 0 votes. Didn't get a single vote in a contested federal election after running as part of a protest over the lack of electoral reforms. Felix Antoine Hamel tells CBC News, when I saw the result, I was like, well, I am the true unity candidate. Everyone agrees not to vote for me. Hamel was among 84 people who listed themselves as a candidate in a recent by-election held in Toronto. He put his name forward as a candidate after he was approached by the Longest Ballot Committee, which works on electoral reform advocacy. The Longest Ballot Committee says the current electoral system skews power into the hands of parties winning a minority of the vote. In protest, the group successfully put 77 names on the Toronto ballot, bringing the total to 84 and slowing efforts to count votes in Monday's closely watched election. When the results had been finalized, 6 other candidates received 2 votes each, most likely from themselves and their spouses, but Hamel was the candidate not to receive a single vote. Hamel lives hundreds of miles away from the electoral district in Montreal, and because he lives outside of Toronto, he couldn't vote for himself. He says, I'm one of the last people who would be expected to make Canadian history in any way, but here I am.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
A man who is looking for a bargain. He's a military buff in China. He picked up 4 discarded books for $1 at a neighborhood recycling station near Beijing that were filled with tons of confidential military documents. China's Ministry of State Security told the story in a social media post yesterday, praising the retired man for calling a hotline to report the incident. It identified him only by his family name, Zhang, and did not say what the documents were about. The story from the Associated Press quotes the post as saying, Mr. Zhang thought to himself that he had bought the country's military secrets and brought them home. But if someone with ulterior motives were to buy them, the consequences would have been unimaginable. The post, reposted on at least 2 popular Chinese news sites, was the latest in a series by the powerful state security agency that appears to be trying to draw in new audiences with dramatic stories. Some have been told in comic book style. So where are the panels of Mr. Zhang being tortured until he finally gives up all of those state secrets? The campaign seems designed to raise awareness of the importance of national security at a time when confrontation with the United States is rising, and both countries are increasingly worried about the possible theft or transfer of confidential and secret information. You see, in China, they take this sort of stuff seriously. In America, we allow our presidents to just kind of keep classified documents in their garage next to the convertible.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
And finally, I don't think I have ever been prouder to be an American and support our U.S. Olympic team. After it's supplying its own air conditioners at the Paris Games in a move that undercuts Olympic organizers' plans to cut carbon emissions. U.S. Olympic and Paralympic CEO Sarah Hirschland says that while the U.S. team appreciates efforts at sustainability, the Federation would be supplying AC units for what is typically the largest contingent of athletes at the Summer Games. Hirschland says, as you can imagine, this is a period of time in which consistency and predictability is critical for Team USA's performance. In our conversations with athletes, this was a very high priority and something that the athletes felt was a critical component in their performance capability. The ability not to swelter in the summer Parisian heat. Germany, Australia, Italy, Canada, and Britain are among the other countries with plans to bring their own air conditioners to France. God bless America. Once again, a Paris Climate Accord snuffed out by patriotism. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the strangest stories of the past 7 days in a segment we call
How Bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
Coming up next, Senator Ron Johnson joins the program to talk about Biden's debate performance right here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Kathy, could you see who's at the door?
I bet it's another one of our neighbors asking who did our outdoor lighting.
Hey, sorry to bother you, Kathy, but could you tell me who did your custom outdoor lighting?
World Class Outdoor Lighting.
Yeah, we're pretty happy. We met Brian and Kevin from World Class Outdoor Lighting. They did an outstanding job. It's the most professional and trustworthy company we've had a pleasure to work with. Brian and Kevin's design and input along with our ideas of what we wanted really exceeded our expectations.
World Class Outdoor Lighting is the only company we will refer to our friends and neighbors.
Hi, I'm Kevin, owner of World Class Outdoor Lighting. We're a leader in technology, material, and design, which means you can expect years of quality outdoor lighting. With multiple offices, we can serve the entire listening area. Be the envy of your neighborhood. Give our main office a call and set up a free consultation. 262-549-5483 or 262-549-LIGHT, L-I-T-E, or visit us online at worldclassoutdoorlighting.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Do you need to get a new roof this year but have some concerns? Hi, Colleen here from Tri-County Contracting. Here are some common concerns. 1. I don't know where to start. There's so many roofing companies. Start with Tri-County Contracting. We've been installing new roofs for homeowners like you since the late 70s. We promise the estimate process will be fast and pressure-free. 2. What shingle color do I pick? We can help you match the existing color or help pick a new color. We have our new Berlin showroom full of CertainTeed shingles for you to see up close. We also have a map on our website that you can pick any shingle color and see homes near you where we've installed that color. Go to TriCountyContractingWI.com. 3. I don't want the process to take forever. I want to get this roof off my to-do list. We work hard to have the whole process move as quickly as possible. From getting the estimate to scheduling to getting the roof completed is a fast process. The roof itself usually only takes 1 to 2 days. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement to stock market risk? How would you like the potential to participate in credited interest from market index returns and limit the downside? Join Joe Brown for the Safe Money and Income Radio Show on Sunday at 7:30 a.m. and 8 p.m.
Even when you get a great price, diamonds cost a lot of money.
But we want you to be able to buy the engagement ring you really want.
You won't
have to settle for anything less than fantastic when you come to Kessler's.
We do everything in our power to make it possible for you to give her that magical engagement ring you really want her to have.
Friendly financing makes it possible.
We can give you 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit.
And with approved credit, we can give you 36 months to pay with just 9.99%.
And if getting your credit approved is a problem, we've even got second chance financing for people who deserve a second chance.
Don't settle for second best. Come to Kessler's.
Seriously, we do everything in our power to make it possible for you to give her that magical engagement ring you really want her to have.
That's the sort of thing you can expect from us when you hear us say, "Welcome to Kessler's."
Welcome to Kessler's.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com. And one more thing, welcome to Kessler's.
For your next exterior remodeling project, we know you're not asking a lot from us. You want the right products for your situation, you want a few different financing options that can make your project affordable, and you want us to do a good job with minimal disruption to your life. And this one's important. You want a warranty that matters. And we know that checking every box makes all the difference. You might be surprised at how many moving parts go into it, but we have just the right people in all the right places to pull that off every day and make it look easy. The company we have took us 21 years to build. It's an awesome place to work because we never stop improving it. And we think we can do this work so well that we can actually change the reputation of exterior remodelers long term. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Ask about our finance options.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for my great friends at Mander Collision and Glass. Now, with 6 locations to serve you, you hear me talk about how great Mander is, their work ethic, their customer service. Here's customer Hank. Took my Corvette in for a new windshield with camera in the glass. Their tech knew everything and did a great job. Everyone there was friendly and helpful. I loved the modern and very neat waiting area. Thank you, guys. Finally, even the bathroom was very clean. This is a very professional family-run business. When I need any more work done, I'm coming here. Peter, you're the best. He even brought this old man an armchair so I could sit and work on my laptop. The receptionist was very quick to say hello and knew everything about my job. Thank you. No, thank you, Hank, for reminding me and everyone about the Mander difference. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com. That's mandercollision.com.
The housing market stays hot and prices stay high, with low inventory continuing to be the main culprit. Bob Tarantino from Redefined Realty, and that's great news for sellers. High interest rates don't seem to be slowing down the buyers, but high real estate commissions are a real stick in the eye to sellers. Interview a 3.99% Redefined Realty agent before signing a contract for 5 or even 6%. Commissions are negotiable, but you have to know where to start. Visit redefinedrealty.com for your free market analysis.
For NARI, award-winning home remodeling.
Conservative thought, not just talk. This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Ready, steady, go!
After a disastrous, and I think that's putting it mildly, performance by President Joe Biden, we get some analysis from Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson, who joins us now live on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Welcome to it, Senator Johnson. Your thoughts about last night's performance?
Hello, Dan. Hope you're doing well. Well, I've been saying for since last summer that I had doubts that Biden would actually be their nominee. I think you're aware of the fact that I've been calling Joe Biden unfit for office since before the 2020 election, just based on our investigation of the corruption of the Biden crime family. So he's unfit because he's corrupt. And then for the last three and a half years now, we've been just watching his mental and physical decline. It's been obvious to anybody who's been willing to take a look at it. And last night was just the culmination of that. Nobody should have been surprised at his performance. I was slightly surprised because I was surprised during the State of the Union that they They had whatever cocktail they mixed for him seemed to give him a fair amount of energy, so he got by that moment. But I really think that this was the second test, probably the final test for Biden that he had to pass. And so I have no doubt that the Democrat Party, the media now, are in complete replacement mode. I was somewhat surprised at how uniform that reaction was last night, but it kind of confirmed my suspicion. So, my main point to conservative listeners is we never should have been focusing just on Biden. I've been talking about the disaster that Democrat governance has been since the start of the Biden administration. So no matter who they scramble to replace Biden with, people need to understand, no matter what lies that individual will tell to get elected, don't believe them. They will still employ the same policies, the same ideology that is destroying this country. They need to be stopped. They need to be defeated. This isn't just Biden. This is Democrat governance across the board in big cities, and certainly when they get power in the federal government, it's a disaster for America.
You know a little something about campaigns. You've waged 3 successful ones for the United States Senate. You also know how much money it takes and how much time it takes to lay the groundwork for it, even to win a mid-sized state like Wisconsin. A national campaign takes, $1 billion, somewhere near there. There are just 130 days to go till the general election, 40 days to go before the Democratic National Convention. Because of that, sir, how likely is it, just how feasible is it that Democrats could replace Biden with somebody, anybody?
Well, remember, they have the media in their back pocket. And so whoever they crown in August at their convention will be like the second coming of Christ. I mean, this individual will be beyond reproach, and nothing but wonderful things are going to be written and said about this individual between the moment that individual becomes their nominee and election night. So it's not a fair fight. It's not a level playing field. So no, I think we need to be highly concerned about this. Don't discount anybody, no matter who they choose. The media, who is basically the communication arm of the Democrat Party, they will lift this person up, put him on a pedestal, and it's going to make it very difficult for President Trump.
Do you think Democrats have to make this move? Is there any chance that you see of Biden winning re-election after the debate last night?
Sure. There's again, how bad does it have to get? We should have had a red tsunami in 2022 with the open border, the 40-year high inflation, the embarrassing and dangerous surrender in Afghanistan. I mean, how bad does it have to get? But that's what underscores the power of the media and the advantage the Democrats have by having radical leftists, advocates for the left, populated most of the media. It's a very significant challenge for Republicans to win any election, quite honestly, just about anywhere.
No, and that's a very good point. I mean, you were a 2-term incumbent in what should have been a big Republican year. You barely won re-election in 2022. We had a gubernatorial election that didn't go our way in a swing state, and this was all across the country. I think a lot of people, though, attributed that to, A, Democrats have mastered ballot harvesting in this and pretty much every other state that they need to win, and also the abortion issue. This is one that Democrats, I think, are going to increasingly desperately cling to and try to focus on in the waning days of this campaign, regardless of who the Democratic nominee is. Do you think President Trump did a good enough job in answering the abortion question, which he had to know was coming early in that debate?
Yeah, I think President Trump pretty well adopted, what I used. The genuine response is, first of all, Democrats have the extreme position on abortion. They are willing to allow abortion up to the moment of birth. And then, as the governor of Virginia said, well, after birth, we'll see whether set the baby aside and let other people decide whether or not we're going to allow the child to continue to live. So, I mean, that's the extreme position. And he rightly stated that all that the Dobbs decision didn't ban abortion. It just turned that profound moral decision over to the states to let the states decide one by one, and that's what's happening right now. So that's the reasonable position on abortion. And quite honestly, where most states are landing is where most Americans are. Most abortions occur before the 14th week, 90% plus. But that's where most Americans think it's probably pretty reasonable. So again, Republicans have the position that most Americans share. It's Democrats have the extreme position, and I think that was kind of displayed in the debate last night.
Senator Ron Johnson joining me here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Sir, you believe that Democrats are going to make the switch. Will it be to Kamala Harris, the vice president? The name that I've heard most frequently mentioned is California Governor Gavin Newsom. If you had to guess, gun to your head, who would you say the most likely successor as the Democratic nominee would be to Biden?
I think it's totally up in the air. I mean, it's going to be a messy process, but they have the time and they have the media. So no matter who emerges from what may be an incredibly contentious and messy convention for them in August, the media and the Democrats will rally behind that person. Again, they'll become the second coming of Christ. I mean, you will not believe how the media and Democrats will set this person up on a pedestal, and we won't have time to vet him. Senator Grass and I, we laid out tens of millions of dollars flowing into the coffers of the corrupt Biden family, well before the election. But that was all suppressed. Our report was, obviously, the Hunter Biden laptop was suppressed. So again, we see the power they have. You don't think they're going to exercise that power? When they all feel so threatened by a second term of President Trump? They will pull out all the stops. These people are relentless, and they are unified in their quest for power. So don't discount what's coming.
No, I'm not. Can you just give me what name do you think is most likely?
Well, I think probably one of the more popular picks would be Michelle Obama.
Do you really think she wants it, though?
I have no idea, but they want power, and they can convince her. I mean, she could be the figurehead, like Joe Biden's the figurehead, and let the Obama operatives, who I think are primarily running the Biden administration as well, that same cabal of radical leftists that have fundamentally transformed America. People can't forget what Obama said 5 days before he got elected. He said, in 5 days, we're going to fundamentally transform America, and damn, they have done it. I mean, can you believe that we mutilate little children on the altar of transgenderism? Can you believe that we've opened up our border to 6, 7, 8 million people that we have no idea who they are? I mean, can you believe this massive deficit spending that's taken $1 from $1 at the start of the Biden administration to 83 cents? This push toward electric, across the board. This is radical leftism that has all been normalized in this fundamental transformation of America. And we just need more Americans to open their eyes and realize the damage being done, and how this nation's on a path of destruction. Again, it's not just Biden. This is Democrat governance. Whoever they put in there will be as bad, if not worse.
Senator Johnson, thank you as always for your honest and unflinching reaction to the day's events. I always appreciate having you on, sir. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, pretty uplifting, huh? Have a great day.
Yeah. Other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? But you know what? Ultimately, you still have optimism. You still have faith. We're the American people. We've survived incompetent presidents before. And I think, Senator Johnson, I think you'll agree with me. I don't think President Trump has ever been closer to being reelected this election cycle than he is right now at this very moment. The abject panic in Democrats right now is incredibly revealing. I'm actually remarkably optimistic that we're 130 days away from getting this country back on track.
I'm just saying, do not relax.
No.
I'm fighting, and I'm fighting. I'm fighting. We all have to. We got to go all out. We can't afford to lose this election.
No, and we can't afford to get complacent. That's a fantastic message. He is Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. I am Dan O'Donnell. We will be right back in just a second.
More of the Dan O'Donnell Show
is next.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. Over the last 75 years, the Lynch family has understood the value of a relationship with their own customers, their employees, and also their community. That's just one of the reasons they've been awarded a Top Workplace Award for the 5th consecutive year. Happy employees provide top-level service, and if you're tired of the same old car buying experience and want to be treated like family, let them show you the Lynch difference. With Lynch Certified, every qualified vehicle comes with peace of mind in the form of a 3-month, 3,000-mile certified warranty. Lynch Protected covers your windshield, road hazards, and paint for 1 year. With locations in Burlington, Kenosha, West Bend, and 3 stores in the McWanago community, Lynch is easy and convenient to find. Come and get treated like family and experience the Lynch difference, or find them online at shoplynch.com.
One day, a 3.5 to 3.9% real estate commission structure will be commonplace. But for now, it's not the case. So you can pay 6% for what we can do for about half that, or you can pay less for full service. For some, it's hard to believe, but for our customers, they know it to be true. I'm Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, and our agents understand the meaning of great customer service. And you'll see they're the cream of the crop. So don't pay more than you have to. Pay less for full service with Benefit Realty. Benefit-realty.com. The reviews are in, and folks seem to like how we do business. And what's more, they can't get over the level of service and real estate expertise they get for far less than what they'd pay an agent from a big-name company. At 3.5 to 3.9%, you'll save up to nearly 50% in commission by choosing a Benefit Realty full-service agent. Everything they do, we do, for up to 50% less. There's no catch. I'm Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, where you pay less for full service. See our success stories at benefit-realty.com.
Hot summer night. Lightning strike. Down goes the tree, right through their bedroom wall, nearly ruining a walnut headboard, which is pretty hard wood. Fortunately, the customers were okay. But the headboard? That wasn't. Until they called us. We made that Victorian headboard better than new. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing, repair, and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. Well, if you haven't heard me bragging by now, we're darn good. Actually, my dad has no qualms about saying we're the best. And if you're skeptical, I understand. But all you have to do is go to MullallyFinishing.com to learn why we're great at what we do and see lots of before and after photos that show off our impressive work. So if you're looking for a name you can trust, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY Finishing.com.
All right, who's there for heroes or their families left behind when a service member or a first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless vets? I'll tell you who. It's the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org, the letter T, number 2, letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's construction season, and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones in your area. Check 511wi.gov or download the free 511 app to see current road work, closures, detours, and camera views on your route. Wherever your travels take you, know before you go with 511wi.gov. That's 511wi.gov. And remember, know before you go. Always park the phone while driving. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
For years now, people have been switching their wireless service to Pure Talk to save money. Just $20 a month, you get unlimited talk and text and tons of data. But more people are switching to Pure Talk, a veteran-owned company, to support America's Warrior Partnership and their mission to help prevent veteran suicide. To make the switch, dial pound 250, say the keyword SAVE NOW, and you'll be connected to Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team. Make the switch, same service, save money, help vets, pound 250, keyword SAVE NOW.
Tune in every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. as Ellenbecker Investment Group highlights local people and organizations who are using their time and their talents to give back to make a difference in our community. Milwaukee's philanthropic community. Visit ellenbecker.com to learn more.
Life is better outdoors with maintenance-free patio furniture from By the Yard. Made in the USA and backed by a 35-year warranty. See all the styles and colors at their new showroom in Oconomowoc or shop at bytheyard.net.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Our thanks, as always, to Senator Ron Johnson. You ever want the full truth and nothing but? Just have Ron Johnson on the phone. He'll tell you exactly what it is. So refreshing from a politician, isn't it? It is so refreshing from anyone in politics. Yo, Ron, what do you think? He didn't answer the first time I asked him, okay, who do you think is going to be? It's like, well, I think it'll be Michelle Obama. And this is, I'm never going to say never when it comes to Democrats and their, as Senator Johnson said, their desire to, their lust to hold on to power and how far they'll go to cling to it. I just think under no circumstances is Michelle Obama going to accept the presidency. Look, it's a matter of, for the Obamas, and here's the misconception. This idea that Obama is somehow the puppet master, I am telling you folks, he never liked the day-to-day grind of governing. He loved, and this is based on everything I've read about the man from people who have written books, his own autobiographies and memoirs and that sort of stuff. He loved being the celebrity. He loved being adored. Michelle even more so. Michelle, I believe for 7-8 straight years, there might have been one year when Hillary was running for president that she was the most admired woman in America. I think it's even longer than that. I think it's the last 15 years. Michelle Obama has been the most admired woman in America. Did you notice, by the way, they stopped doing that after Donald Trump won most admired man in America? They just no longer, I think it was Time magazine, somebody did the poll, who's the most admired man, who's the most admired woman. Back when they were doing it, Michelle Obama was a lock to be the most admired. Do you think she wants to give that? She is even people on the right, not this person on the right, but there are a lot of people on the right who say, yeah, I like Michelle Obama, sure. She's not going to want to give that up. The Obamas are worth something like $200 million. They got $100 million just from Netflix in a development deal that so far has yielded pretty much nothing for Netflix, except, of course, for all of the political considerations and stuff they got while their company was building during the Obama administration. This, by the way, in case you were unclear, is how politics works. Politicians always get rich after they leave office because they cash in on all of the favors that they did for businesses. It's the dark, unseemly side of the body politic. Now, do you think the Obamas are going to want to go from chilling on Jeff Bezos's yacht somewhere in Saint-Tropez and hanging out at their $15 million compound in Martha's Vineyard? They've got another mansion in Washington, D.C., another mansion in Hawaii. They're living the life, I think, that they always dreamed about. You think they really want to go back into that and clean up Joe's mess? Come on. You're probably looking at, and what I have articulated for the past few months is what I'm calling the Kamala Harris problem. In order to replace Biden, you also have to get rid of Kamala Harris. You'll notice there is no Democrat talking about let's just replace Joe with Kamala. If Kamala was halfway competent, Biden would have announced that he's not running for re-election. He did because they thought they could just sort of mask Biden's obvious cognitive decline. Well, unfortunately, an hour-and-a-half debate last night laid bare all of the problems with that strategy. They thought, well, we could just prosecute Trump enough, hide Biden as much as we can, and that's that. Well, all of that blew up in their faces last night. If you push aside Kamala Harris, you're going to have a whole lot of people, black voters, black women specifically, especially if you push her aside in favor of a white, straight male like Gavin Newsom, who I believe is the left's dream candidate. You also have the problem of where are they going to come up with hundreds of millions of dollars in 130 days. It takes a staggering amount of. How are they going to staff up that quickly? Sure, a lot of the Biden campaign team is just going to move on over, but a substantial amount aren't. You also have the people who are loyal to Biden, close to Biden, who would be pushed out along with him. You think they're going down without a fight? I doubt it. One thing is for sure, this is a mess for the left. And one thing is also sure, I am enjoying every single second of it. Folks, what can you say? It's going to be a fun summer of politics. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. We're back Monday morning, 9 a.m. right here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.